It's 7:30.
Good morning. I'm Bruce Krupp in the WJBD newsroom. Here are the top stories we're following at this hour. Fire damages the Simons Corporation plant in Junction City. Amateur cave explorer comments on a hunt for ancient riches currently underway in Romine Township in extreme southeastern Marion County. Not much new to report except for some new allegations in the teacher strike at Kaskaskia College. 2 people are hurt in a 2-vehicle crash in Odin yesterday afternoon. A rural Odin man is arrested for reckless conduct with a firearm after a gunshot hits his neighbor's pickup truck. An amateur cave explorer says those trying to find ancient riches in a burial site in Romine Township in extreme southeastern Marion County are in the wrong place. Russell Burroughs of Olney, who wrote a book about the cave entitled Mystery Cave of Many Faces in 1991, says the current site is only a decoy for the actual cave that is 70 air miles away from Marion County.
As far as I know, there is no cave in that area. There are several rock overhangs or rock shelters. And one particular site I know is a genuine archaeological site. It's probably middle to late woodland period. I used that as a decoy site because there were several people who were virtually insisting that they be allowed to visit the site. And I used a decoy site in order to just to appease them and literally get them out of my hair.
Burroughs says the actual site contains 13 burial crypts, those of African descent who appear to have been in the area long before Columbus is credited with discovering America. He's declining to disclose the actual site because he fears the graves will be desecrated in violation of state law. Burroughs says the group may have been pirates who came to the area via the Mississippi and Ohio rivers to hide, but says stories of the tombs of several well-known historical figures being moved to the cave are ridiculous.
Alexander the Great, it's ridiculous to even assume this or to even give it a second thought. Alexander the Great's coffin was melted down by a pharaoh to obtain gold coinage to pay for an army. That's a known historical fact. Well, I shouldn't say historical, but it is a historical fact. What they did with Alexander the Great's bones, because he had been dead for, 300, 500 years, something like that, they probably dumped him out in the desert. As far as Cleopatra Selene being there with her 2 children, that's kind of ridiculous also.
Meanwhile, the remote site in southeastern Marion County is creating a lot of attention. Bureau's biggest fear is an area with archaeological significance will be destroyed. Marion County Sheriff's Department says a Florida man, Harry Hubbard, is leading the current excavation at the Marion County site and claims to have deciphered script dating back to a lost Egyptian civilization. About the actual site of an ancient burial ground, person who apparently set off a treasure hunt for burial treasures dating back several centuries in Romine Township in extreme southeastern Marion County, says those conducting the search are at the wrong location. Amateur cave explorer Russell Burroughs of Olney, who detailed finding the grave site in a cave in a book published in 1991, says the actual site is 70 air miles away from the county. Meanwhile, Harry Hubbard, who is leading the dig, says they are in the right location. He feels scripts found on stone tablets indicate the tomb of Alexander the Great is at the site, something Burroughs says is ridiculous. Burroughs feels the remains are of those of African descent who may have been pirates and came up the Mississippi and Ohio rivers to hide. President of the Centralia chapter, the Nationalist Eastern Marion County, says those conducting the search are at the wrong location. Amateur cave explorer Russell Burroughs of Olney, who detailed finding the grave site in a cave in a book published in 1991, says the actual site is 70 air miles away from Marion County. Meanwhile, Harry Hubbard, who is leading the dig, says they are in the right location. He feels scripts found on stone tablets indicate the tomb of Alexander the Great is at the site, something Burroughs says is ridiculous. He feels remains are of those of African descent who may have been pirates and came up the Mississippi and Ohio rivers to hide. More after this. And we'll have an update on the look for the tombs of perhaps Alexander the Great and his descendants that's underway in Romine Township in southeastern Marion County.
This is South Central Illinois, the noon edition.
The findings of script that appears to be from ancient Egypt is apparently behind an excavation in Romine Township in extreme southeastern Marion County. However, only amateur cave explorer Russ Burrows, who found the script and the grave site, says the expedition being conducted by Harry Hubbard is digging in the wrong place. But the cave where he found the items 70 miles away from Marion County. Not so says Hubbard, who expects to find the tombs of the descendants of Alexander the Great at the Romine Township location.
This thing is over here because of two men that are going to be in history, whose names are King Eula II of Mauritania and Alexander Helios, the son, one of Cleopatra and Mark Antony's missing sons from history. Mark Antony and Cleopatra, of course, became lovers, and she bore him twins. Alexander Helios, the sun, and Cleopatra Selene, the moon. And Alexander Helios is missing from history after about age 8. Nobody knows what happened to him. And we knew that, we know that, and that's a fact. So what happens is this guy, Russ Burrows, is turning up stones to have this fella all over him. And they, at age 22 and later in life as an old man, with different deeds and accomplishments that he had done. And Alexander, the medieval story of Alexander's coffin being melted down is not based on fact at all. It's recorded in the medieval times, and it's pure speculation.
Burrows responds it is ridiculous to think the remains are those of Alexander the Great. He feels the burial site is from those arriving from Africa, possibly pirates. Well, before Columbus discovered America, Burrows is refusing to reveal the actual burial site because he fears the cave will be desecrated in violation of state law. Burrows maintains the site where Hubbard is digging as a decoy site he revealed to get several people off his back after he wrote a book about the cave in 1991. Both Hubbard and Burrows have nothing kind to say about each other. Hubbard expects the work at the site in Romine Township to continue for some time.